Ellie? Are you here?
Nick? Oh God, it's really you.
Well, it's hard to mistake this mug for anyone else.
You keep laughing at death. Someday, death's gonna laugh back.
Not as long as I got a few friends to back me up.
You saved Nick, this agency, and my job. Thank you.
Alright, just pay me.
I always gotta ruin the moment with money talk. Here, every cap we agreed to for finding him. Plus a little something extra. You know, if you're looking for work and don't mind putting on the detective hat, Nick sure could use a new partner.
Whoa. One case at a time, Ellie. Our new friend needs our help first. All right, let's get down to business. Take a seat. Make yourself comfortable. When you're trying to find someone who's gone missing, the devil is in the details. Tell me everything you can, no matter how painful it might be.
Me and my wife were cryogenically frozen, and they just came in and tried to take my son away from her. You know, they even pulled out the gun and...
It's okay. You don't need to say anything more.
So, we're talking about a group of cold-hearted killers, but they waited until something went wrong to resort to violence. You were on ice, huh? More importantly, you were underground, sealed up. There's a lot of obstacles to get through just to take one person. Anything else you remember?
They were wearing some type of hazmat suits, face covered, and they called me to back up.
So we're talking a small team. Professionals. The kind that know to keep their lips tight when they're on the job. Not sure what the backup means, though. Anything else you remember?
The person you look for is my son. They took him. He was nothing but an infant. I don't know why they would want an infant.
Good question. Why your family in particular? And why an infant? Someone would be taking on all of his care, and a baby needs a lot of it. Well, that confirms it. This isn't a random kidnapping. Whoever took your kid had an agenda. There's a lot of groups in the Commonwealth that take people. Raiders, super mutants, the Gunners, and of course there's the Institute.
I never heard of anyone called the Gunners. You think they're responsible?
High-end mercenaries. No job too brutal. They're in the running as likely suspects. They wouldn't be the ones pulling the strings.
This Institute seemed like a prime candidate.
Well, they're the boogeymen of the Commonwealth. Something goes wrong, everyone blames them. Easy to see why. Those early model synths of theirs strip whole towns for parts, killing everything in their way. Then you got the newer models, good as human, that infiltrate cities and pull strings from the shadows. Worst of all, no one knows why they do it, what their plan is, or where they are. Not even me. And I'm a synth myself. A discarded prototype, anyway.
Don't lie to me, Nick. You are one of them.
Yeah, I've heard it all before. You're a freak. You've got something to hide. Blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, people smart enough to build something like me are smart enough to cover their tracks, and arrogant enough to throw their unwanted trash into the Commonwealth to fend for itself.
You expect me to believe you don't know anything about them?
Some kind of security setting strips or blocks out those memories. And it's not just me. Any synth that gets trashed, left behind, or escapes the Institute has the same problem. Probably some kind of failsafe.
Regardless, I'm going to find them.
You're right. The speculation is getting us off track. Let's focus on what you saw. What did these kidnappers look like?
The man that killed my wife. He had a 44 Magnum. Possibly a bull barrel. It was loud.
Could have been a large caliber revolver. Huh. I'm starting to get a clearer picture of the kind of man our perp is. Anything more you can tell me?
The man killed my wife. He came up to me with a scar across his left eye. He had a bald head, kind of scruffy beard, a deep menacing voice.
Wait. It couldn't be. You didn't hear the name Kellogg at all, did you?
Oh yeah, I heard his name, his address, his business card was also left.
All right, calm down. It's way too big of a coincidence. Ellie, what notes do we have about the Kellogg case?
The description matches. Bald head, scar, reputation for dangerous mercenary work, but no one knows who his employer is.
And he bought a house here in town, right? And he had a kid with him, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. The house in the abandoned West Stands. The boy with him was around 10 years old.
Maybe another kidnapped kid? I don't know.
Yeah, either that or he's got a son of his own. Not a comforting thought in any case. Both of them vanished a while ago. Haven't been heard or seen since. Let's you and I take a walk over to Kellogg's last known address. See if we can snoop out where he went.
Security doesn't really go to that part of town, but you two should still be careful.
I always am.
You've really gone through a lot, haven't you? Hope you and Nick find that monster.
Case: Earl Starling's disappearance. Client: Vadim Bobrov. Another disappearing act to unravel Earl Starling, 25-year-old bartender at the Dugout Inn. One of the owners, Vadim Bobrov, noticed that Earl hadn't been into work for a few days. Security was called in, no investigation, of course. The Institute took him as the unofficial word about town, like always. Vadim came into my office, half drunk with a sob story about how him and Earl Starling went way back, and that he just can't believe that Earl would get snatched up by the boogeyman. My gut says he's right. Earl didn't have any enemies, at least none with motive enough to kill the guy. Not living with anyone either. So I'll have to see if Vadim or someone else at the Dugout has his keys. I'd rather not have to explain to security why I was picking the lock on Earl's door if I slip up and get caught in the act.
The Earl Sterling case. Apparently Earl just up and disappeared one day. No one's seen him since.
When I find my son, I'll come back.
The Marty Bullfinch case. Marty was Nick's partner. Emphasis on the was. He must have been some kind of desperate to come to us for help after all this time.
Nicky, you old bucket of bolts, it's Marty. I know it's been a while, but I came across a little mystery I thought might get your circuits firing. You remember that ugly grasshopper statue on top of Faneuil Hall? Turns out it's got a note in it. A note written by the son of one Shem Droud. I don't expect that name means anything to you, but the guy was a coppersmith. Way back when folks did shit like that. Apparently, this note leads straight to the old guy's stash. I don't know what's in it, but I'd sure like to know if it's still there. I'm gonna go do a little recon on the hall. If you decide you want to get the team back together, you let me know.
I didn't want Ellie to hear this, but I think you should know. Everything I dug up about Kellogg before his disappearance? Bad news. He's more than just a mercenary. He's a professional. Quick, clean, thorough. Has no enemies, because they're all dead. Except you. 9 to 1 odds says he's our man. It's more than just you identifying his distinguishing features. The M.O. is all him as well. Leading a small team to kidnap a baby and leaving one of the parents alive for later? Not many mercs in the Commonwealth can pull that off. Here we are. Keep an eye out, will you? See if I can
Roger
get this
that.
open. That's one heck of a lock. Got something to hide, Kellogg? Why don't you give it a try?
Alright, let the big boys handle this.
Let's take a look around. Kellogg must have left something behind. Place seems small to you? Figured a guy like Kellogg would think big. Nothing here. Well, that's one way to hide a room.
Got a lot of ammunition and supplies in here. These San Francisco sunlights are pretty premium.
Interesting brand. Won't lead us anywhere on its own, though.
You know what? I think dog meat actually could track this.
Say, that's not a bad idea. Some dogs out there in the Commonwealth can track a man for miles. Well, dog meat seems eager for the job. Why don't you let him have a whiff? See if he picks up on the trail. Before you head out, I know this is personal business. If you have to face Kellogg on your own, just say so.
I mean, sure, you could ride along with me.
All right. Let's get that bastard. This is your show from here on out, okay? You say jump, I'll say how high.
Stand a swat. The latest hairstyle from the upper stand.
Got a question? Should talk to Sullivan.
What's that? When I thought you were getting along. Something out there. To the deck. Really want this to be the last mug you see? Suppose someone should make this. I don't think we're alone.
That's one way to get this.
Kellogg must have stopped. Search around, see if we can pick up the trail. Someone's coming. Did good. Dog meat find something?
To Fort Hagen loomed before us, a metal maw ready to swallow us whole. Samuel looked down at Dogmeat, his tail wagging hopefully, ready to follow him into hell itself. But he couldn't take him, not this time. "Go home, boy," Samuel said, his voice thick with emotion. He whined, his ears drooping as he seemed to understand the gravity of the situation. "You need to rest," he explained, kneeling down to meet his eyes. He licked his hand, a low whine escaping his throat. He knew he was leaving him behind, but he also understood that it was for his own good. "He'll be all right," Nick reassured Samuel, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Let's get in there." With a final look, Samuel turned away, ready to face the unknown. Fort Hagen was a labyrinth of steel and concrete, every corner hiding a threat. Synths patrolled the corridors, their cold eyes scanning for intruders. Automated turrets swiveled on their mounts, their barrels glowing with deadly intent, but they pressed onward, their determination fueled by grief and rage. They fought their way through the facility, their movements becoming more synchronized with every encounter. Nick was a whirlwind of bullets and sarcastic quips, his synthetic body seemingly impervious to damage. Each step brought them closer to Kellogg, their resolve unshaken. As the last synth fell, silence descended upon the halls of Fort Hagen, broken only by the distant hum of machinery. They had fought through waves of relentless enemies, their bond forged in the crucible of battle. Now they faced the final challenge. Standing in a room with clean furniture in a wasteland is more than odd. Kellogg's voice echoed over the speakers, a chilling reminder of their mission. The door slid open, revealing a pitch-black chamber, the final piece of the puzzle.